Verse 255. When the Samskrita is seen as devoid of qualified and qualifying, all predicates are discarded, and thus the world is seen as of mind itself. The previous verse was about samskara, and in this verse we've got the term Samskrita, which is clearly related. In fact, it's the same as the word Sanskrit, the language Sanskrit. And according to the Wikipedia article on Sanskrit, the verbal adjective Samskrita may be translated as put together, constructed, well or completely formed, refined, adorned, highly elaborated. So this is what Sanskrit, as in the Sanskrit language, means. Put together, constructed, well or completely formed, refined, adorned, highly elaborated. And I suppose you could say this about language generally, couldn't you? It's something that's put together, constructed, highly elaborated. We use language to describe our understanding of the world, our relationship with the world. This word samskar is made up of the root sam, which means together, and kar, to do or make. So something is coming together, and in this coming together something is constructed. And it's a bit more fundamental in this context, in the context of these videos, of these teachings. Samskara I've described as our mood. It's a coming together of our own disposition with this stream of appearances. And from this we define our reality. It's not something we consciously do, but if you look into this, if you look into your own moods, your own psychological disposition, it will say something about your own understanding of reality. If there was one reality, one understanding of reality, then we'd all be subscribing to it, surely. But we're all different, so we all have a slightly different take on things. You might belong to a particular religion, and the whole idea of a religion is it's a particular way of looking at things, of understanding things, of relating to the world. But then within that religion you're going to find people that have got a different take on that, because they've got different dispositions. So there's a lot that could be said about that, but now is not the place for it. What we need to look at is our own disposition, our own tone, and to see that it isn't reality, nor is it the arbitrator of reality. This is what's meant by qualified and qualifying. It's got nothing to do with things as they are. Our Samskrita, our mood tone, is not reality. It's our own psychological reality, that's true. But as enlightenment practitioners, we step beyond that. And that might seem a little bit mysterious. How do you step beyond it? Well, this can only happen if there's been an enlightenment event in your life. And you might be thinking, well, I've not had any enlightenment event, so that leaves me pretty much in the dark. But enlightenment events are actually quite common. You need to remember it. This is what the Buddha did when he sat under the Bodhi tree. He remembered his enlightenment. He remembered the enlightenment event which happened when he was sitting under another tree as a teenager, watching his father plough the field. And then he spent several weeks under the Bodhi tree, consolidating that. He spent several weeks as an enlightenment practitioner. So it just happened spontaneously, that enlightenment event. And it didn't happen because the Buddha was anybody special. He was a teenage boy. It didn't happen because of past karma and all the rest of it. These enlightenment events are very common. Loads of people writing lots of books about it now. There will have been moments in your life that you've stirred from your coma, where you weren't dominated by the tyranny of your own psychology, of your own mind. A moment of stillness, perhaps. Could have happened any time. Lying on the beach, sitting in the garden, or sitting on a park bench. The feverish mind, the turbulence of your moods is, at least for a short while, temporarily stilled. And what happens then is you're in touch with a sense of being, sense of your own being. You're not thinking about anything in particular because you're centered in yourself. You're centered in awareness. You're not caught up in qualifying things. You're not caught up in predicates, which means trying to figure things out and stick labels on things and deciding that this is how things are. They're not like this, they're like this. There might even be a sense of being a stranger in a strange land. You're looking out through this body into a world which can be beautiful or ugly, inspiring or terrifying, and it's got nothing to do with you. So if you can relate to any of that, then it's possible there's been an enlightenment event in your life. This is what you need to get back in touch with. There's nothing mystical about it. It's not about higher states of consciousness. It's about being free from the need to understand. It's about being free from reacting to the world, reacting to your head. And it's about being free from the dominance of your moods. And although I described it as being a stranger in a strange land, there's also a sense of being in touch with something intimate, something at the heart of being, which is here described as mind itself.